Jeff Entry. I worked in as a trainer at SeaWorld for 8 years, and then I went back to school and became a medical doctor. I now work as a physical medicine and rehabilitation physician in Central Washington, and I've spent some time with Dr. Jed here. We have written about 3 papers now and a chapter in a book that we're trying to use to kind of combine science with our experiences behind the scenes to kind of shed more light on what's happening with captive animals, and happy to be here, so thanks y'all for coming out.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
My name is John Jett, and before we start this evening, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, being with us, and watching the movie, and for actually caring a little bit. It's interesting for me to be, geographically speaking, at the area where this all took place, right, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and so I feel like we're probably preaching to the choir to some degree, but it's great to see everybody here. And I live in Florida, so being on San Juan Island in the summer is terrific. So very glad to be here. In fact, if anybody has a job for me, I'm for hire. So.
I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and this is really very encouraging for me to see so much interest and so much enthusiasm and so much dedication to this issue, and to see the Blackfish effect really changing the dialogue, which 10 years ago wasn't at this level whatsoever. So I started with the Humane Society of the U.S., and I've moved to the Animal Welfare Institute, and this is the kind of I like to speak to the people on the fence and also the other side. As some of you saw the debate that was held in San Diego, I really do thrive on that sort of confrontation, but it is equally inspiring to me to be talking to, preaching to the choir. As John just said, it's important for us to be energized and to be, rededicated to the issue. So thanks.
And again, I'm Steve. One clarification I always like to make is that there was a bit of an error in the film. I was not actually the director of Sealand of the Pacific. I was their head trainer and supervised their animal care, and also supervised the Victoria Marine Animal Rescue Center. The Blackfish effect has been monumental for me personally. After Sealand was closed, I pretty much hid myself away from the whole issue, put aside my love for Tillicum and the others, and just stayed very quiet for many years. But meeting Gabriella and just changed my life entirely. So I've now closed my business a year ago, and I'm working hard to being a writer and an advocate for animals, marine mammals, rodeos, whatever it might be. So that's what the Blackfish effect has been for me. It's dramatically changed my life and made me an advocate for animals' rights when I should have been many, many years ago.
If you want to read a great interview with Steve, it's on our website at Voice of the Orcas. It's a Google site. So just Google Voice of the Orcas, and you can hear his story about working with Tillicum. And if you cried at the end of this movie, you will definitely cry when you're reading that, when you hear about his experience working with Tillicum at the beginning. So it's definitely one that you want to read.
It made me cry.
Yeah. My name's Sam, and I worked at SeaWorld from 1990 to 1993. So about 3.5 years at SeaWorld of Orlando. I got to work with these guys at the end of the table. You can see that's fortunate or misfortunate. We'll talk about that later. And one thing that I had an opportunity to do this year is I got to travel quite a bit with the film, and one of the big things was the film, and not many people in the U.S. are aware of this, but the film actually went all over Europe. And in fact, there was a representative from the Born Free Foundation in Europe who recognized the potential of this film to really unite NGOs, non-government organizations from all over Europe. And he managed to do that and get the film shown. We showed the film in 7 different countries, did 9 screenings, and then came back to Europe in March and actually showed it at both locations of the European Parliament, both in Brussels and in Strasbourg, France. And then after that, well, we actually spoke to the animal welfare working group in, was that Brussels or was that Strasbourg? Brussels, and then we also had a meeting with I think it was 30 representatives and 16 different non-government organizations working on the anti-captivity issue in Europe. So as much as has happened in this country, the same effect has happened in Europe, and that's been really exciting to be part of. So I'm just like I'm really honored to be part of this. And last night we had Rachel Carberry, who's been organizing the Empty the Tanks movement. She did 2 tours basically in Taiji last year and the year before, and she did a slideshow from her presentation she did a slideshow about her experience at Taiji, and then she showed photos from all over the world of people who were participating in the Empty the Tanks movement, and there were just, the slides just kept going and going and going. I mean, people all over the world have had their eyes open to this issue because of Blackfish, so it was just amazing. And one woman in Mississippi with a single sign, that was the best part. it was just really incredible to see that, and the slides just did not stop for about 2 or 3 minutes, just placed all over the world. People are really been galvanized by this movie, so it's really an honor to be part of it.
What she said. I've been kicking around this neighborhood since the early 80s, so it's great to be here with the hometown crowd. This movie has just taken off. It's phenomenal, and I'm honored and very thankful to be with the caliber of the people that are involved in this movie, and I'm especially thankful to Gabriella Cowperthwaite. She didn't have to do this, and she didn't even know that she was going to do this. She thought she was going to do a kind of a simple documentary on one incident, what happened, how do you explain one death of one trainer. And once she looked into it, she realized, whoa, this is a really big story that will shake up the industry, and they will shake her up. And so she took that on, and with a lot of courage, she told the story absolutely truthfully as she found it. And I think she deserves a whole lot of credit for that. So, it could be the Gabriella effect, that's about all I have to say, but we welcome your input. So thanks for coming.
My name is Jordan Waltz, and I'm actually an artist from the Midwest. I've had a great affinity for marine life and nature for a very long time, but it wasn't until my late high school year I just started stumbling across very old articles about this captivity issue, and I just started hoarding all this information to myself. I didn't know what to do with it until I started getting contact with journalists, and I would start helping them out from there. And it was through the journalists that I got connected through Gabriella. And just seeing how this Blackfish effect is just going, it just changed everything, not just how everyone views captivity of marine mammals, but the ethics of zoos and how people view their food. I mean, it's incredible, and I'm very, very happy to see everybody here willing to come over here and just be very supportive of it. So that's all I've got to say.
I got to say one more. When I'm around people like this, I always think of the thing that when you know something and then you meet some people that know so much more, you feel so ignorant. And but it's so great that you folks are here to share this. And I hope this Blackfish effect, that it affects so many people. I think there's a couple of lives and a couple of tanks that we really hope it affects as well, even more. So with that, who's the first to raise a hand here?